calling to order the November 14th of the Rotary Club of Louisville. I'm Lori Flannery. I'm President and CEO of New Directions, Club President, and Paul Harris Fellow. I'd like to remind you as we get started that if you have any devices with you today, if you'll please either turn them off or put them on silent so everyone will enjoy our program. Thank you. Providing our invocation today is Kelly Hutchinson, Executive Director of Development of the Salvation Army of Louisville and Chair of the Invocation Committee.
Thank you, President Lori. Please join me. Thank you for each of those who are here today, and please be with those who could not, as we give thanks for the warmth of friendship, of cooperation, and of a shared purpose. Teach us to radiate kindness and concern so that our time spent together may cause apathy, ignorance, and injustice will vanish. We are thankful for this opportunity to develop acquaintances for service to our community and to the world. We pray that this meeting will serve to strengthen our Rotary Club in its purpose and each of us in our service to help others. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kelly. And now for the pledge and the four-way test, I'd like to invite to the podium Nick Garner, Software Development Lead of the MITRE Group.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Nick. Okay, now it's time for our guests, and I know we have a lot today. So, if the Rotarians, you all see your calendars. If the Rotarians will come to this microphone right here and line up, what I need you to do is introduce yourself, then introduce your guest, and if your guest has any affiliation, please state what that is. Guest, when you hear your name, if you will please stand for just a moment, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
President Lori, I'm Julie James with the Filson Historical Society, and it is indeed my honor to introduce my new boss, Dr. Patrick Lewis. Effective January 1st, he will be the incoming President CEO of the Filson Historical Society.
Hi, President Lori. Hello, everybody. I'm Maggie Harlow. I am a signer on downtown, and I'm Executive Director of the Jack Harlow Foundation. And my guest today is Scott Cadle, and he's with Jones Lang LaSalle. We've worked together, and he's a wonderful guy. Make sure you meet him.
Welcome. Good afternoon. My name is Mackenzie White. I'm with PNC Commercial Bank, and today my guest is Kevin Blair. He is Business Development Officer for our Institutional Asset Management Group.
Welcome. Good afternoon. I'm Christy Flippins-Bartlett, founder, CEO of Option to Success, and my guest here today is Jaquita Warfield. She is the COO of Option to Success. Welcome.
Good afternoon. I'm Bob Slider. We have, I guess, the battle of the banks today. I'm with Central Bank, and my guest is Bridget Wingate, who is a friend and our CRA officer at Central.
Good morning, President Lori. Delene Taylor, Executive Director of the club, 13th largest in the world. Thank you. I have at least three guests here today. I would like to introduce Brent McNart, who is the President of Psycho Enterprises. Deshaun Price is a career coach with the Goodwill Aspire program, program director for 100 Black Men of Louisville, and on the advisory board of the Louisville Juneteenth Festival. Welcome. Gabriel Fritz is the Vice President and COO of the Housing Partnership, Inc. Welcome. And did Tiandra or Tiffany make it today? All right, thank you.
Thank you. And I have a couple of special guests here today. The first one is Daryl Fuller. He is a partner and president of Tantalum Partners, and he's also a board member for me and New Directions. So welcome, Daryl. And thank you for being here. We have with us again, it's a special treat, our District Governor, Dale Leatherman. Do you mind standing up? Immediate past District Governor, Tom Reed. And Zone 30 Endowment and Major Gifts Advisor, Robert Huffman. Thank all of you all for being here today. It brings a lot of energy to the room when we're able to have guests with us, with our Rotarians. When you hear me ring the bell again, that's going to mean that our meeting is concluded. And when you do hear that, if you are a guest today, if you don't mind to make your way over to this table over here, it's called What is Rotary? And you can't miss it because there's a placard on it which says, What is Rotary? If you don't mind to go there for just a couple of minutes, we have a past president and one of the best darn presidents ever, John Bush, is going to meet you there. And I think John was going to be a little bit late today, so he must not be here. But if I see him, I'll point him out to you. If you'll make your way to that table, he'll be there to talk to you for just a couple of minutes about Rotary.
And we have Craig too.
Craig Sherman.
Oh, great. You're not in my notes, so I didn't even think to look for you. Thank you for standing up. Great. He's the man. Thank you. All right, so we have several Rotarians in the spotlight this week, as always. Past president and another one of the best darn presidents ever, Gene West, was the speaker at the Bardstown Rotary Club yesterday. So thank you, Gene, for always making us look great and for representing us for Rotaries around the state. Want to congrats also Portia Shoulders. She's the owner of PL6 Porta Potty Rentals. She was featured recently in a WHAS story, so be sure to watch Doug Proffitt's interview with the Porta Potty Queen. Cynthia Collier, CEO of Mr. P Express, participated in the Business First Economic Insights CEO Roundtable panel this morning discussing the current economic landscape and its implications for businesses. Whitney Austin will be a featured speaker at the next Chamber St. Matthews Inspire quarterly breakfast series on Tuesday, December 10th. So check that out if you can. We also have several upcoming events that I want to highlight for you. As you know, Delaney spends a lot of time making sure that everything is in Sparks and it's very comprehensive, but we select a few of them out to talk about at each meeting. So I'll talk about 4 of them here today. We are partnering again this year with the Kiwanis Club to share Thanksgiving meal and fellowship. This is going to be on Tuesday, November 26th at the Audubon Country Club. This is going to be in lieu of our regular Thursday meeting that week. So no Thursday meeting that week. The speaker will be John Dell. Please arrive at 11:30. So it starts at 11:30. You know, a lot of times we come here to network a little bit before the noon start, but that one is actually going to start at 11:30. The cost is $35, and we've been given a hard cutoff of noon on Monday, November 18th to submit the final head count. So please bear that in mind when you're trying to figure out if you're going to be able to join that or not. You should have at your tables an invitation to our 2024 annual meeting, which will be held Wednesday, December 4th at 7 p.m. at the Hurstbourne Country Club. I'd like to give fair play to all of our country clubs. This is where we will announce the outcome of our Rotary Club and Rotary Fund officers and directors election for next year. This will be for people who will take office beginning July 1 of 2025. Watch for an email soon from the nominating committee chair and president-elect and Salvaji with information about the slate of candidates and the voting process and timeline. Third, we have our annual meeting is combined with our holiday party. There will be a costume contest, so dress in your most festive attire and join us for cocktails at 6 p.m., followed by dinner, dancing, and entertainment and prizes, including tickets to the opera, the ballet, the orchestra, PNC Broadway series, and more. You'll find details and a registration link in Sparks. And finally, our annual Salvation Army Battle of the Bells competition is underway. We really need a strong showing, guys. We cannot let them show us up. I know we have a competitive spirit, and it's for a good cause. So we need volunteer ringers. They're for 90-minute shifts. We have them on 3 different Saturdays in December, so that's going to be, it's easy to remember, the 7th, the 14th, or the 21st. They're in the Holiday Manor Kroger on US 42. Guests and children are welcome, so please see George Bregmeyer or Lewis Seeger to sign up, or again, you can look for the links in Sparks. So now, I want to say thank you for everybody who participated in the friendly competition of County Your Points for our Membership Strengthening Incentive Program. This is our first month of 6 months where we will be drawing here in just a moment for a prize. The first prize is the Kentuckiana-Opoly 2 game. Next month's prize will be the bottle of bourbon that you see before you that was donated to us by a previous speaker, Eric Gregory, who is the head of the Kentucky Distillers Association. So the first one will be for Kentuckiana-Opoly and created by students, local students, and then the one for next month will be the bottle of bourbon. So, can I have, sure, yeah. So then let's get that close. Who's our lucky winner?
Larry Sloan.
Congratulations to Larry. Oh, there you go. Larry, you want to come in? Somebody else snag it. I've seen this for back to the meeting ends. Oh, let's get a picture. Oh, yeah, let's get a picture. That's a good idea.
Yeah, Larry.
Well, we can't be here.
Oh, that's okay. We're not there.
It's not a movie.
I actually have that at home. I've given them as gifts before, so they're always well received. But congratulations, Larry. It is only fitting that you win our very first incentive prize, being the true Rotarian that you are. Now I would like to invite to the podium Robert Hudson, Rotary Zone 30 Endowment and Major Gifts Advisor, for a special presentation.
Thank you, President Lori. I'm Robert Huffman. I have the distinct pleasure and honor of having the best job in Rotary. I'm your endowment and major gift officer. I service 6 different states, 14 districts, and I work with Rotary's most passionate philanthropic donors. And that's an absolute pleasure to work with these individuals who want to make a lasting impact on Rotary International. I'm here today to honor 2 of the members of the Louisville Rotary Club. I'm pleased to take this opportunity in honoring these donors who have generously contributed to the Rotary Foundation. And because of their dedication, our foundation will honor them as major donors today. So much good begins with your generosity. You give to others not knowing their names, their faces, even where they came from in life. In so doing, you demonstrate through your generous act that all humans belong and deserve our compassion. Your act of kindness is a seed of peace that will yield returns many years into the future for not only the community served by your generosity, but for Rotary as the premier foundation organization in the world. You're among a dedicated and select group of humanitarians who have committed themselves, their time, their talent, their treasure in serving others. Major donors change lives around the world for children, young people, young adults, communities, and the world in which we all belong. At this time, I'd like to call forward Rick and Mary Ellen Hardin. Please come forward and accept our congratulations. Your gift inspired inspires others to not only give of their treasure, but of their time and talent. And in recognizing your investment in the Rotary Foundation's wonderful projects and program, we present the certificate and major donor level 4 recognition pins and medallion. On behalf of the Foundation's trustees, we'd like to present these as a token of our esteem. Thank you.
This is the pin that Rick will be getting today. It has 4 gems.
Isn't it wonderful? Rick and Mary Ellen have a milestone birthday, and Rotary is the recipient of such a wonderful gift.
And not only birthday, we celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary.
Rick, Mary Ellen, would you like to share with those assembled why you support the Rotary Foundation with your generosity?
I think a lot of you know that I've been very active in putting into practice some of the generous gifts that previous people have given to the Rotary Foundation. Put them into work in international projects in El Salvador, in Uruguay, and other places around the world to let folks know that Rotary tries to do good. I've been doing this for most of the years I've been a Rotarian, and it's been extremely rewarding to me. I've gotten so much good from the gifts that people have given to the Rotary Foundation. It really fills my heart. I know I am nowhere near the wealthiest member of this club, but I just might be the richest. Because of all of the friends I've made here, around the world, through Rotary and the work of the Rotary Foundation. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you.
As his partner of many years, I've had the joy of being part of Rick's Rotary world, and about 3 years ago I became a Rotarian myself, you all know. But because we have traveled the world and seen Rotary at work, we know also, because there's I don't know if you know, writing a global grant is a real challenge. You have to dot the I's and cross the T's, which Rick has done so many times. The money is responsibly managed. And so we know what good work it can do. And so when Rick suggested this to me, he did not have to twist my arm. We like the idea of giving now, not waiting for our demise. And if you can explain the fund, will be one that in the district, explain what the purpose is.
This is an endowment fund that will send money back to our district as well as to the World Fund, but opportunities for our clubs and our club to apply for district grants, apply for global grants, and receive the benefit as long as there is a Rotary Foundation, which I hope is forever. That's the idea.
Rick, Mary Ellen, thank you once again. To those assembled and the members of the club, if you are able, you should support our Rotary Foundation and the good that we do around the world. Thank you so much for having us and allowing us to participate in this recognition. Thank you.
special presentation. It means a lot to us to have our district folks come visit us for such special occasions. So it's just a great feeling. So thank you very much. Now I'm going to turn the table over to Kevin Fields, President and CEO of Louisville Central Community Centers, or LCCC as we call them in my world, Club Secretary and Vice Chair of the DE&I Committee, to introduce today's speaker. And I'll switch places with you.
Thank you, President Lori. Ladies and gentlemen, Rotarians, guests, it's time to welcome a true champion in our city. A man with a career as dynamic and powerful as the legacy he now represents. In the spirit of our city's greatest legend, the greatest of all time himself, let's get ready to meet one of Louisville's finest. In the red corner of leadership, weighing in with more than 30 years of unstoppable momentum in corporate brand management and public affairs strategy, hailing from the fields of workforce development, education, healthcare, and beyond. The man, the myth, the force for change, DeVone Holt. DeVone took on his new title this past September as President and CEO of the Muhammad Ali Center, where he is on a mission to unleash Ali's legacy, to inspire generations of change makers, and to create a more just and compassionate world. And believe me, folks, he's the man for the job. Before stepping into the ring at the Ali Center, DeVone was the Vice President of External Affairs at Goodwill Industries of Kentucky, where, alongside Rotarian Amy Luttrell, he championed marketing, communications, and public relations strategies that led Goodwill to be a national leader. But he didn't stop there. With a vision and drive, he helped to launch Kentucky's first ever high school for adults, breaking new ground in education and opportunity for all. Whether managing business expansion projects that brought over $4 million in new investments to Louisville, or hitting the airwaves with insights and inspiration as host of Saturday Morning Solutions, DeVone has been a relentless advocate for our city. He's even an author, sparking debate with his best-selling book, Hip Hop Slop, The Impact of a Dysfunctional Culture, which has become essential reading for students across the country. He is a leader, a follower, a husband, and a friend, a man who I've been honored to have known for the past 25 years. It is my great privilege to introduce to you my friend and Louisville's own President and CEO of the Muhammad Ali Center, DeVone Holt.
I gotta take Kevin with me everywhere I go. That's pretty cool, right? Good afternoon, Rotarians. It is indeed an honor for me to be in this place today, standing before you. When on so many occasions I've been in this crowd, watching so many others in our community make great presentations about the work that's happening here. And so it is an honor for me to be here today. I don't come along alone. I'm with Dustin Vogt. Dustin, who's got his camera rolling, wave. Dustin's with us from the Muhammad Ali Center, as part of our marketing team, and does a great job of helping us brand and promote the work of the Muhammad Ali Center. In addition to that, we have one of our illustrious board members here today, and our former president of the Rotarian Club, Ms. Jean West. Won't you please stand? Let us recognize you. I also see so many other supporters of the Muhammad Ali Center, like Barbara Saxon Smith, and so many of you who've touched the Muhammad Ali Center in some important and significant ways in the past. I'm going to do something for the very first time that I've never done before. But I'm turning into a bit of a technology nerd, and I just bought these Meta glasses that can do videos. I just want to video this crowd, and I'm going to send this video clip to DeVone so that she can get a look at what this crowd looks like from the podium's perspective. How cool is that? Now we'll take them off. They are prescriptions, though. They are prescriptions. I can't see without them. So, again, it is indeed an honor to be here today because I'm excited about where I am in my career and what that means for what I get to contribute to the work that's happening here in Louisville, Kentucky. And I say that as someone who's spent nearly all of his life here. I wasn't born in Louisville, but I got here long before I had any memories of being anywhere else. And so this is home for me. And you talk about a place being home and you say you're from Louisville, a lot of questions that come up, but there's always one that surfaces. You guys know what it is, right? What high school did you go to, DeVone? Holt? I went to Dawes High School in South Louisville. And we moved to South Louisville, just down the street from where Breonna Taylor was killed. But at the time when we moved there, it was just as I was beginning high school, end of my 8th grade year. We lived at 227 South 39th Street. And I came home from school one day and I walked in the front door as a latchkey kid and opened the door, and as I was opening the front door, someone was running out the back. Someone had broken into our house that day. And my mom said, that's enough. And so she took me out of this community where I had been raised, where I had built friends, where I had deep roots, and she moved me to an area that I affectionately now call the Boondocks. St. Andrew's Church Road. And much more development there now than it was then. We moved there as one of 4 black families that lived in that community. And for me, it was a culture shock. Shocked me to my core. Because I was in a new environment. People who had questions about my hair. People who had questions about my skin. People who had questions about how I live my life as an African American. But soon, I built some of the best friendships I've ever had. And I started to learn the value of expanding my network, expanding my understanding of our community and the people who live in it. And ultimately, it became a way that I lived my life and began to do my work. And so that helped shape how I see this community and how I value this community. And it also led me to many of the jobs and work that I've committed myself to over the years. As someone who's spent most of his career working here in Louisville, Kentucky, with the exception of my first real job out of college where I went and worked at the University of Kentucky in their public relations department from 95 to 98. After that, I moved back here to Louisville, Kentucky to begin working at UPS Airlines in their public relations department. And had these beautiful experiences and opportunity to get to know this city in a very intimate way. Doors open when you could say you were working and representing one of the largest companies in the world. And so I got to see this community from behind the scenes and developed a great appreciation for it. So much so that my career began to take a different trajectory because I wanted to do more to contribute to how we improve this community. And so I like to look at my career on a pathway and a trajectory that really kind of lands itself in 3 areas. One is an area where I feel like we were working to what I like to call creating streams of water. Just follow me for a second. But I went to work at GLI, the Chamber of Commerce, as the Economic Development Director there. And I still laugh at that because I took one economics class at Eastern Kentucky University and became the city's economic development director. Now, go figure, right? But interestingly enough, it was the job that I did longer than I've done anything else. The one thing that I never went to school for, the one thing that I never prepared for. But Steve Higdon, who was the CEO at the time, and we knew one another from UPS, told me to come to the chamber where he was providing leadership and said I had some transferable skills that he thought would be well utilized in that space. And so I went and I got a chance to serve and represent West Louisville, the community where I grew up, as its economic development director. And we generated hundreds of millions of dollars in economic development in West Louisville. We helped companies in that area generate more than 1,000 jobs for people who lived in that community. And I like to think that we did a tremendous amount of good while I was there. Some of the best work that I've ever done, quite frankly. But that was a job to create streams of opportunity that people could tap into. It gave people and families an opportunity to land themselves in jobs that had relocated to this community, had expanded in this community. And the thing that I valued and appreciated most about being in that role was walking up to people who would come to me and tell me that because of that work, they were able to buy a house. They were able to send their kids to college. They were able to live the American dream. And that's ultimately what I think we all want, and I was able to use that role to help create streams of opportunity for people to tap into. But after creating streams of opportunity, I transitioned from creating streams of opportunity, streams of water, to trying to lead horses to water. What do I mean by that? My career transition after GLI to JCPS. I functioned as the assistant superintendent to our school system, Dr. Sheldon Berman at the time. And don't worry, they didn't allow me to teach our students. Everybody got out of there okay. But my job was to build external connections and connect the school system with the community and the business community in meaningful ways. And we did some impactful work at JCPS with Dr. Berman and his innovative thinking. I left there and went to a place called Rest Care Workforce Services, which is now Brightside, and then transitioned to Equus Workforce Services, but was headquartered here in Louisville and was the nation's largest workforce services provider. And in that role, we managed contracts in 70 communities around the country, which meant that although I lived here in Louisville, I spent most of my time traveling the country. And in those travels, my job was to make sure that we were building workforce development infrastructures in communities around the country that allowed people to tap into opportunities to build their workforce skill sets and to apply for jobs that would allow them to build themselves up. I was leading them to water. And then I left Rest Care because it was time to get off the road and get more engaged right here in my community, a place that I've called home, and was away on the road for 6.5 years and wanted to be more vested in the work that was happening here in Louisville, and saw an opportunity at Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. And it was a job that looked like the job description had been written using my resume. It was just a perfect fit for me. I started there on May 13th, 2019. And Amy Luttrell, Rotary here, CEO at Goodwill, came into my office the next day. And she said, DeVone, our board has a desire to expand Goodwill services into West Louisville. Will you lead that work for us? And I said, absolutely. And for 5 years, I committed to this task of expanding Goodwill's presence in a significant way, not a small way, but to do something transformative. So we went looking for space and found a space at the corner of 28th and Broadway. And for those of you who know this community, you know that on the corner of that facility was the old Cypress Solutions Tube Turns building. How many of you all remember that? Remember that building? Well, at that point, Cypress Solutions Tube Turns, that building didn't look like it used to when it had originally been built. It was a brownfield. It was an eyesore in this community, and a dilapidated building that was 400,000 square feet. And we went and said, let's make a deal. And we did, and we purchased that facility, and we started on this path to transform that 20-acre site in a way that wouldn't only create room and space for Goodwill to do its work, but also to provide hope and inspire people in the community that more could happen with similar investments. And then I got a call one day from Russ Cox, president of Norton Healthcare, who said, DeVone, after Breonna Taylor was killed, he said, we've decided at Norton that we needed to be part of the solution. We need to anchor ourselves in communities where our presence is needed. We are looking for a location and can't find one better than the one that you all purchased at the corner of 28th and Broadway. Can we co-locate? And I share all of that to suggest that that was a scenario that is still continuing to play itself out as a national model of community revitalization. One that I'm incredibly proud of, particularly because as I was beginning the campaign to raise the $50 million to build the Goodwill facility on that campus, and then partnering with Norton Healthcare, who put in another $120 million. So there's $170 million on the corner of 28th and Broadway. But I can tell you, as much as people applaud that work today, that when I started in 2019, sharing the vision, planting the seed, and beginning to raise money, I literally had people laugh at me. People in leadership positions in this community who did not think it was possible, who thought that investment in that community was beyond something that we could generate. But I believe different. And I continue to work in pursuit of a new day and a new opportunity to create a catalyst in West Louisville that ultimately will get the ball rolling so that in 5-10 years from now, we'll see a community that looks very different. And so when I think about that work to create streams, work to lead horses to water, I realized that there was a piece that was missing. Because if you know how the story goes, it says what? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can't make it drink. And so much of the work that I had done was to create streams, was to lead horses to water. But the frustration was building in me because I wasn't seeing enough people tap into what was accessible to them. I wasn't seeing enough people drink the water. I wasn't seeing enough people believing that they could produce a new reality for themselves. And so an opportunity presented itself to me. An opportunity that allowed me to do something in a very real way, to go from Goodwill to the Muhammad Ali Center, the greatest of all time. And I share with people that in that move, I literally became someone that you can point to who says he literally went from good to great. Literally went from good to great. So what does that mean now? So now I get a chance to represent the greatest of all time. And that's exciting to me because Muhammad Ali is my hero growing up. I had the chance to meet him on about 5 occasions, 3 when I was, 2 when I was a young kid, 3 as an adult. And I probably act like more of a kid when I met him as an adult than I did when I was a kid. Because he just had something special about him that made all of us pause in admiration when he entered into our spaces. And the opportunity presented itself. And I'll just share this with you because I don't believe in coincidences. I believe I'm actually exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm a man who, for many years, has operated with vision. I believe that's one of my God-given gifts, is vision. God has given me vision to see 28th and Broadway long before it happened. One of the things that I've learned about my vision is that I will be given the ability to see something until a certain point. And I've learned that when I can no longer see what's supposed to happen next, that's a sign that my transition is coming. And at Goodwill for 5 years, I had a very clear vision. I could see it as clear as I can see this room. But I could only see up until the ribbon cutting. There's no vision after the ribbon cutting, which was why I knew when I cut the ribbon, it was going to be time for me to transition into my next role. Didn't know what that role was. My wife and I would have conversations, and fortunately I would have a lot of people knocking on my door offering jobs for me to consider, and none of them felt right. Some of them high-profile jobs, big earning potential jobs, but they didn't feel right, and I kept saying no, and my wife asked the question on a Thursday, never forget this. She says, well, what is it that you would want to do? And my response to her was, well, I'd like to run the Muhammad Ali Center, but Marilyn's only been there 2 years, and I know she's not going to be leaving anytime soon. That was on a Thursday. On a Tuesday, the next Tuesday, not even a full week, I get a telephone call that says, today we're going to be announcing that Marilyn is leaving the Muhammad Ali Center, and that she's going to be going to take her dream job in Washington, D.C. for the American Association of Museums. That means the Muhammad Ali Center is going to be searching for a new president and CEO. Not a week later did that opportunity present itself to me. And it gives me goosebumps now to think about it, because I am convinced I am where I'm supposed to be. Why do I say that? Not just because Muhammad Ali is my personal hero. I say that because Muhammad Ali and the Muhammad Ali Center is built around core principles and values that are perfectly aligned with who I am and what I do. So much so that I can tell you there's no separation between who I am when I go home, when I go to sleep, and when I wake up, and who I am when I go to the Muhammad Ali Center. They are two in the same, one in the same, because the values that this center was built on give me great opportunity to continue work that's meaningful to me. What are those values? 6 core principles that the Ali Center is built around: confidence, conviction, dedication, giving, respect, and spirituality. And then those 6 core principles are centered in a mission that the Muhammad Ali Center has operated with for the last 19 years. And those are to foster respect. This belief that Muhammad had that all of us, regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of what side of town you live on, regardless of what your bank account says, we all are worthy of respect. And I embrace that notion deeply. So respect. And then Muhammad appreciated something about what he was able to do with his life, and that was become the greatest of all time. But he also recognized that all of us have greatness within us. And so one of the other missions of the Muhammad Ali Center is to inspire the next generation of change makers to pursue greatness in their own ways. And that resonates deeply with me. And then the third and final portion of our mission at the Muhammad Ali Center is to advance social justice causes, to make sure that equality exists for all of us, to create level playing fields in ways that don't allow those who have little to fail to participate in the advancement of our community or their individual lives. And so that creates an incredible platform for me to do good in the world. To do good in the world, to do great in the world, to represent the greatest of all time. And I'm excited that I get to do that because I don't just get a chance to do that here in Louisville, Kentucky. I get a chance to represent this community through the Muhammad Ali Center on a global stage. I think we all know that Muhammad was a global icon, once upon a time recognized as literally the most visibly recognized human being on the planet. Second to the Michelangelo painting of Jesus Christ. Muhammad Ali, a little boy, loudmouth boy from Grand Avenue in West Louisville, became the most recognizable face on the planet. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a gift to us. It's a gift to us here in Louisville, Kentucky especially. So what do I plan to do with that gift? Well, tomorrow. Am I saying that right, Dustin? It's tomorrow? Is that right? Anniversary? Am I saying that? What's today's day?
Oh, no, sorry.
19th. What's today's day?
14th.
14th. All runs together. We are coming up on the 19th anniversary of the Muhammad Ali Center in this community. How many of y'all remember when it opened? Remember that? You remember how exciting that was? You know, the celebrity, the energy, the hope that this center brought to this community and to the world to take Muhammad's legacy and do even greater things through this center that was anchored here in Louisville. Well, you know, we watched that center for 19 years do good, but I believe it's now prepared to do great. And so I get an opportunity to take the Ali Center to places that we haven't been before. I like to believe that we've operated for 19 years in a very safe way that's allowed us to do good work, but I don't believe that work was done in a way that's commensurate with who Ali was. What do I mean by that? This is a man who was the greatest self-promoter of all time. He had a big mouth and he used it for good. He was big, he was bold, he was audacious. He did not live his life in the shadows. And it is my belief that the Muhammad Ali Center should not either. That we should put ourselves in big, bold, audacious positions to make this world a better place. We started with that just last week with the Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Awards. Those of you who were able to be there, Maggie was there, a few other folks I see in this space were in that place. And we had us a beautiful evening where we paused to recognize humanitarian efforts of men and women from literally all around the planet who are doing good. So we paused in a moment where I think our country, many people in our country, are having questions about which direction are we going to go. Many people found themselves with strong feelings as a result of the election this year. And it was important for us to pause to make sure that we didn't overlook the human beings that we are wanting to impact, the lives that we need to touch, regardless of politics. So we paused to make sure the world knew that compassion, that love, that hope, that humanitarian efforts were still in style, that they haven't gone out of style. And the room was so packed and the accolades flew so high that I'm convinced that we are tapping into something that the world wants and that the world needs. And so our work at the Muhammad Ali Center is going to continue to advance those efforts in big, bold ways. You know, I have the great fortune now to be in this position to prepare this center for a milestone moment. This time next year, we'll be celebrating 20 years at the Muhammad Ali Center. And for us, I plan to use that as an opportunity to introduce a new Muhammad Ali Center, not just here to Louisville, but to the world. We plan to launch a capital campaign that's going to be north of $100 million. And that's going to allow us to not only provide some incredibly refreshing updates to the facility and the exhibits in our space, to expand our campus in a way that will continue to attract people, not just locally, regionally, nationally, but internationally in big, bold ways. But we're also planning to take our programming and our work to other parts of the world, because at this point we've recognized that what Muhammad Ali brought to this world was necessary. Many of us have become familiar with him as a boxer, and he was the greatest of all time. And he built a name for himself. He built a career for himself as a boxer where his job was to knock people out. But he built a life for himself by picking people up. One of the greatest humanitarians that we've ever known. And so it's the humanitarian work that we're leaning into, tapping into so many of the celebrities and elected officials and athletes who we know admire Muhammad and want to continue to see his work advance. They're lining up now to be a part of this work that we're planning to launch in 2025. And so my hope is that as the world begins to embrace the Ali Center more, that we continue to build stronger ties and connections right here in his own hometown. Because one of the things I've recognized stepping into this role was that, yes, there is a great appreciation, I believe, that we have locally for the Ali Center, but there's not a great connection that's been made and built, and I want to change that. We know that that connection exists nationally and internationally because the data tells us that. If you talk to Louisville Tourism, they'll tell you that 70% of the international tourists who make their way to Louisville come here expressly to see the Muhammad Ali Center. 70% of the international tourists who come to this community come to see the Muhammad Ali Center. We are an economic engine in many ways for this community, but we have to be more than just a center that attracts people from outside our community. We want to be in partnership with people here locally. And so when I mentioned to you that our center has a mission that also includes the advancement of social justice issues, my invitation is for everyone in this center, everyone in this space to be a part of what it is we're planning to do. And I will tell you, as much as we value and appreciate the work of the Urban League and the NAACP and other like organizations, that's not the lane that the Muhammad Ali Center will drive in as we do social justice work. We believe we operate in a much more unique position because Muhammad left us this incredible gift to galvanize people by using his name. People from many different backgrounds, many different experiences find themselves at the Ali Center. And we want to bring those people to the table to begin to advance real discussions that impact change, that lead to change in our community. Black, white, Democrat, Republican, gay, straight, urban, suburban, you name it. We are calling those individuals to the table beginning next year to have some real, honest discussions about where we collectively can do good to make our community better. And we can't do that alone. And so my challenge to this group, my challenge to this Rotary Club is to help us in that cause, because ultimately that's all we all want, is for our community to be better. But it won't happen if we sit on the sidelines. We have to be engaged. We have to get involved in this process. We can no longer watch from the sidelines, sit on our couches, and hope that things get better. It is now time for us to get engaged and to get involved. And so we're creating the platform for you to do that. Stay tuned, pay attention, because it's coming. And when it comes, I want you all to stand with me as we rumble, young man rumble.
Opportunity to ask some questions. We're bumping up against 1 o'clock, so if anybody has something that requires them to leave, please do so. But Rotarians, if you have any questions, please come to this microphone and ask your questions, abiding as always by the rules on the screen.
Thank you, President Lori, past Governor Reed, Governor Lindley, and DeVone. First, can you talk about the stamp that we're planning?
Yes. So we've been petitioning for years for Muhammad Ali to have a stamp. And we are coming very close to helping make that happen. I suspect 2025, I can't say exactly when that'll happen, we don't know, but we are getting very, very close to closing in on helping that, on making that happen. And when it does, we will have a celebration in this community and invite you guys to be a part of that because his legacy is one that is transcendent of the boundaries and borders of this United States, but it is one that I believe has been well worth and worthy of him having a stamp here in the States.
Yeah. One more thing, I was at the Bardstown Road Rotary yesterday and met someone that has a really strong Ali connection. Her uncle was Joe Martin. And she literally kind of grew up with Cassius Clay and Tommy can be even more. She has an entire house full of memorabilia.
Oh, wow.
And she has
Wow.
invited us to come
Oh, I love to, yeah.
and see it. So
Love to.
we'll plan that.
And Tom Cash is a lot about farm work.
Farm work in addition to boxing. I love it, I love it, I love it. Thank you.
Thank you again, DeVone, for being here. It's wonderful to hear what's going on at the center. And kudos to you for Ashley Parrott. I think that'll be a great thing. And thank you, Dustin, for being here as well. Okay, joining us next week, we're going to have inspiring before and after photos of gardens designed by nationally renowned garden designer and Kentucky native John Karloftis. And when I was in state government, we were very familiar with John Karloftis. He is the one who did everything for the governor's mansion, for a lot of the different beautiful properties around the Commonwealth, including the lieutenant governor's mansion as well. But he is world renowned and he has done projects all over the country. So I do think that you will enjoy hearing from Kentucky native John Karloftis of John Karloftis Fine Gardens. You'll need to RSVP by Monday at noon. That's November 18th. Or of course we have the QR code if you want to go ahead and take care of that before you leave here today. Yes, as a reminder, John Bush is raising his hand. He's going to be at the What is Rotary table over here for a brief overview of our club as I ring the bell, which means we are adjourned.